Hi, I'm Sarah Cowgill, along with Andrew Moran, Kelly Ballard, Dave Patterson, and Jim Fight, and this is the Conservative Five, Liberty Nation's online TV news program. Hey, if you haven't heard, there is an out-of-control border crisis in our country. The media doesn't seem to care. The president doesn't think there is a problem, and his border czar doesn't seem to like visiting the three-alarm dumpster fire down south. Imagine that. We are well past the 1 million mark for illegal crossings this fiscal year. But why does Joe Biden think there is no crisis? I want to start with Kelly, and then I want to pivot to Dave for his national security take on where we are. Kelly, girl, you are up.
Well, hello there, everyone. Well, with the border crisis, I mean, it is a crisis, but the southern border states are having a lot of problems with the Republicans and with the Biden administration not really stepping up to plate to help them at all. So in Texas, they're talking about deputizing their citizens to help. They can do arrests, like, basic arrest and crowd control. And that's causing a lot of flack throughout the left, who are like, no, because now you're going to start, discriminating against people of color. And like one, I can't remember his name, one politician said, it's like the show me your papers laws. But Texas has already paid out more than $4 billion on ways just to try and slow the migration across the border. So what else are they supposed to do? And also, this type of, I don't know if you want to call it militia or deputizing citizens or whatever, has been a way for Americans for, centuries, when regular law enforcement can't help control out of control crime. So it's not passed yet, but it's proposed and it's going through. So there might be a lot of legal challenges. We'll just have to wait and see.
So it's basically got to go to the courts. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah,
well,
but
what are you going to do?
I don't blame them.
I don't blame them either. But Dave, what are you going to do? I mean, our border is a national security issue, and if we're not, paying attention to that, what's going on with this country? It's the federal government's job to protect our border.
I think that's exactly right, and the facts, speak for themselves. For heaven's sakes, I mean, we've got millions of people not undocumented. Undocumented means like you got pulled over and you didn't have your driver's license with you. These are illegal aliens who are coming across our border, and a significant number of them pose a national security threat as potential terrorists. 98 were apprehended last year, 69 so far this year with on the watch list. And the Democrats in a recent hearing tried to minimize this by saying it was such a small percentage. But let's face it, of that small percentage, 600,000 gotaways, people that they were not able to apprehend, that they were not able to document, that they just missed altogether. And what percentage of that 600,000 are potential terrorists? In 9/11, it only took 11 folks to bring down the towers and
a box cutter. I mean, come on.
And so, you can't minimize the threat to the United States that the open border that the Biden administration has foisted on us is. It is a tremendous national security threat, and people need to really understand the magnitude of what this means.
What's it costing, Andrew? I mean, what kind of numbers is Texas, going to face if the federal government won't step in and help?
Well, Texas has proven that even under Republican leadership, they subsidize illegal immigration. They spend billions of dollars every year, whether it's education, housing, healthcare for legal immigration. For years, I've been on this program. I've made the exact same case that illegal immigration is an economics issue. Just recently, Massachusetts announced a plan that it's going to give out driver's license to illegal immigrants. This is constantly across the entire country. You have Colorado handing out, health rebates housing rebates to illegal immigrants. You have New York giving thousands of dollars in checks to illegal immigrants. And then, of course, you go back to the recent presidential campaign, and you have Democrats saying, "Oh, we're going to give you free health care if you cross the border and you need help." So overall, this is economics because they're incentivized to cross the border and enjoy all the fruits that the United States offers. And I think one other point too is that the border crisis is another example of why the government, especially this administration, cannot do anything right. You can debate the merits of immigration all you want. I think we can all agree that there's a net benefit to immigration. But if the government's job is to prevent people from illegally crossing the border, it's done a horrific job. And even legal immigration, the government still can't do it right. You have millions of backlogs and wait times for green cards. And so the whole immigration issue is a complete failure in Washington.
Okay, there's a deer in the headlights I see right down there, Jim. Watch, so you're just staring. Say something, you're freaking me out a little bit.
Sorry, well, I was just thinking about, Dave pointed out the national security issue and Andrew pointed out the economics issue. But there's another issue here. I mean, we talk about illegal immigration and how it's a problem, and people on the left are like, you just hate black and brown people or anyone that's not from America. No, I mean, it's not just people streaming across the border looking for a better life here. There's a lot of crime that comes across the border outside of terrorism. We've got human trafficking. We've got drug trafficking and not just, the weed from Mexico, where we're talking about fentanyl coming out of China up through Mexico, potentially killing thousands of Americans. Enough fentanyl comes up. I forgot the exact numbers, but enough fentanyl was captured at the border. Never mind what actually makes it through, has been captured at the border to kill off a good chunk of the American population.
A study just showed that the fentanyl trafficking over the border increased by 500% from 2019 to 2021. 500%.
It's terrifying, and the amount of fentanyl it takes to kill somebody, especially when you don't know it's fentanyl, is really not that much.
Okay, I have a question.
I don't even understand why anybody would cut other drugs with fentanyl and kill off their buyers. Why would anybody want to do that? I don't get it. Because it's killing people. It's not helping the hide. It's killing people. I don't understand I'm not thinking like a drug dealer, but you'd think they'd want that continual customer base.
I mean, you'd think.
But perhaps there's a market response to that, because now it's not just drugs being laced with fentanyl. You have a new zombie drug being peddled in the open market. San Francisco, Chicago, all these different urban centers, and it's actually called a zombie drug because you take it, and not only do you behave like a zombie, your skin actually deteriorates and starts ripping open like a zombie. So it's not just fentanyl anymore. It's all these other different types of drugs. And I'm sorry if I grossed out Sarah or Kelly. I want to be a gentleman, but this is the situation.
Oh, Andrew,
there's another one they're calling like the crocodile.
You gross us out pretty frequently.
Sarah, I think to your point, the problem is that they're not necessarily lacing illegal drugs. What they're lacing with fentanyl are prescription drugs that you would normally take for. If you go to your CVS or Walgreens or pick your favorite, and you would get your oxycodone, but they're lacing these drugs with the fentanyl so that people take them thinking they're taking one thing when in fact they're taking something else. And the object for the drug dealer is that if you take it in the manufacturer's suggested way, it gives you a much enhanced response. But what they're doing is they've got lousy production controls, and so there's more in it than they anticipated. They just don't care, and they're doing pretty well.
Hold on, Dave, are you telling us that drug smugglers don't have a qualified QC team?
They do not have a quality control team in place, nor do they have government regulations to see that the correct proportions are in their drugs.
Oh, I mean, come on, who hasn't popped a Vicodin for a broken shoulder and washed it down with a glass of wine? I mean, I don't see why this is any kind of a good idea. I just don't. But
when you're on drugs, you have given up your right to good ideas.
Well, I guess you're right there, and that makes more sense than anything I've come up with today. So, well, I'm all for states kind of asserting their rights to put up walls and fences. And if the current administration has no interest in stopping the insurgence of illegal immigrants into the nation's communities, why not let them do their own thing? Thanks, panel. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform, YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble. We're on them all. As well, Liberty Nation has its own Roku channel where you can see all of our TV productions. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to surf on over to libertynation.com. Special thanks to our fantastic editor and post coordinator, Frank DiOrio. I'm Sarah Calgill, filling in for the one and only Lisa K. Donner. Thanks for joining us today. This has been a production of libertynation.com, where truth matters.